Hey, future creative directors. Ready to dive deep into interview prep for that dream creative director role?
We've got the inside scoop from RoleCatcher with resources made just for you.
Forget those generic interview tips, right?
We're skipping those. Let's dissect some real questions and give you strategies that'll help you stand out.
It's like laser-focused prep. We'll break down sample questions, share how to craft amazing answers, and sprinkle in some career insights from RoleCatcher's Career Guide.
Consider this your masterclass in creative director interview prep.
All right, classic question. What inspired you to pursue a career as a creative director? It might seem simple, but
It's your chance to make a first impression. Showcase your passion for the field.
don't just give a generic answer.
No. Think about those moments that made you want to lead creative teams.
RoleCatcher's Career Guide has great examples, like this junior creative who talks about their love for visual storytelling, starting with stop-motion animation as a kid.
The interviewer wants to hear your story. Be prepared for follow-up questions like, can you tell me about a project that made you want to lead a creative team?
Showing those early leadership experiences. Okay, next. How do you stay up to date with the latest design trends and technologies? Continuous learning, right?
The creative director role changes all the time. Show you're proactive about staying current. RoleCatcher's Career Guide talks about this too.
So how can we impress them?
Don't just say, I read industry blogs. Mention specific things like the resources in RoleCatcher's Career Guide. Show you've done your research.
Good strategy. And follow-ups.
Maybe. How do you balance using new trends while making sure your designs are timeless?
Show you can tell which trends will stick around. Okay, question 3. How do you manage a team of designers with diverse backgrounds and skill sets? Leadership. The Career Guide really focuses on that.
Absolutely. Management of personnel resources and coordination are super important. A creative director needs to inspire a team.
Like conducting an orchestra, bringing all those different instruments together.
I love that. Don't just list leadership qualities, though. Share stories that show your approach. How have you handled team issues, resolved conflicts, or motivated people with different styles?
They'll probably ask, tell me about a time you had to give difficult feedback to a team member.
Be ready with a story that shows you can communicate with empathy and help people grow.
Let's get a bit strategic with how do you approach developing a creative brief for a new project? First, can we clarify what a creative brief is?
Sure. It's the base of any creative project. It outlines the client's goals, target audience key messages, and the overall vision. Think of it like a roadmap.
More than a pretty document.
It sets you up for success. Your answer should reflect that. Talk about how you gather information, define objectives, and make sure the brief communicates the project's goals to the team.
They'll likely ask, how do you adapt creative brief when client needs change mid-project?
Show you can roll with the punches. Highlight how you adjust communicate changes and keep things on track.
Now, for measuring success, how do you measure the success of a creative project? This one can be tough because creativity is subjective.
True, but a good creative director knows creative work needs to match business goals. The Career Guide is big on this. Understand those goals and use data to show the impact of your work.
It's not enough to just say this campaign looks great.
Nope. Talk about metrics like engagement conversion rates, brand awareness, or whatever is important to the client.
Those follow-up questions, maybe something like, how do you show clients the value of your team's work?
Use data and storytelling. Make those numbers exciting and show how your creative strategy is working.
We've covered 5 big questions, but before we keep going, RoleCatcher can be a secret weapon for interview prep.
Right. We've talked about the Career Guide, but their AI tools can really step things up.
Tell me more.
It's like having an interview coach available all the time. RoleCatcher's AI practice feature has tons of questions for specific roles like creative director. Practice and get feedback on what you say and how you say it.
It's not just general advice. It analyzes my answers for the role I want.
Exactly. Like a virtual mock interview with an expert. They'll help you get your answers perfect.
That's amazing. Let's jump back in. How do you collaborate with other departments within a company, such as marketing or product? This seems to be about working well with others.
Definitely. The typical interactions section of the Career Guide shows how connected the creative director role is. You're always talking to marketing, product sales. Communication and collaboration are key.
It's not enough to be creative on your own.
You have to build relationships, manage expectations, and find solutions that work for everyone.
I bet they'll ask, describe a situation where you had to resolve conflicting priorities between your team and another department.
A chance to show you're a problem solver. Talk about how you found the cause of the problem, talked it out, and found a win-win.
All right, question 7. How do you motivate and inspire your team to create innovative and impactful campaigns? Leadership shines here too.
It does. Remember that high-pressure environment the career guide mentioned? Show them you can handle it and create a positive space for your team to do their best work.
Be a leader and a cheerleader, pushing them to do great work and keeping them going when things get tough.
Exactly. The career guide talks about clear goals, ongoing feedback, and being open to trying new things. What are some things you've done to motivate teams? Share examples that show your leadership style.
I bet they'll ask, can you give an example of how you helped a team member overcome a creative block?
Have a story ready that shows you care, you can coach, and you can help your team get through creative ruts.
Okay, final question. Can you walk me through your creative process from ideation to execution? This feels like your big moment.
It is, but remember, it's not a one-man show. Highlight how you work with your team.
We've said it before, a creative director doesn't work alone. They bring the team together.
So when you're explaining your process, talk about how you include your team. How do you brainstorm? How do you get everyone's input? How do you make sure they're a part of the final product?
I love that. Show them you come up with great ideas, and you create a space where those ideas can become something real. Oh, and be ready for how do you adapt your creative process to different projects or client needs?
Show you're adaptable. Can you switch from a quick social media campaign to a big branding project? Can you work with different clients who have different personalities and ways of communicating? The more you can adapt, the better you'll be.
It's about showing you're not just good at one thing. You can change and succeed in any situation. Speaking of adapting, data analysis is becoming really important for creative directors.
It's not what you'd think of first, but it's crucial these days.
Why is that?
Well, you need proof for your creative decisions. A good creative director knows how to look at data, see what's happening, and use that to make creative choices.
So it's not just about what you feel anymore.
It's about using data to make smart decisions that work for the target audience and the client.
Makes sense.
Like if you're making a digital marketing campaign, a data-savvy creative director will look at engagement demographics and even what the competition is doing. They use that to make their campaign as good as it can be.
So it's creativity plus data. Speaking of data and strategy, we have to talk about RoleCatcher's AI. It can really help your job search and interview prep.
Right. We talked about the career guide, but their AI tools can really change things.
I'm prepping for this creative director interview. I'm nervous and I want to do great. How does RoleCatcher help?
Picture having an interview coach with you all the time. That's RoleCatcher's AI practice. It has tons of questions for specific roles, and you get feedback on your answers and how you deliver them.
It's not just general advice. It looks at my answers based on the job I'm going for.
Yep. It's like a practice interview with an expert who helps you perfect your answers.
Awesome. And RoleCatcher's Career Compass.
Like a map for your career. It uses AI to look at your skills, what you like, and your experience to suggest career paths, skills to work on, and even other job titles in your field.
So it's not just about getting the first job. It's about planning your career and always getting better.
Exactly. In a field like this, you have to keep learning and developing. The Career Compass helps you stay ahead of the game, know what's coming, and make sure you have the skills to succeed.
This is all great. But we should mention that the creative director role isn't always easy. The career guide talks about pressure and the challenges of leading creative teams.
It's a tough job for sure, with high expectations and tight deadlines. But if you love creative challenges and leading others, it can be super rewarding.
How can people get ready for those demands?
Learn to manage stress and be resilient. Know how to prioritize delicate tasks and set realistic goals. The career guide also says it's important to have people you can rely on, both at work and outside of work.
Having a good team and mentors can help when you're stuck or things get stressful.
And take care of yourself. Do things that help you recharge and stay inspired. Whether that's trying new creative things, spending time in nature, or just taking a break from work, it's important for doing well in this field.
That's good advice. It's easy to forget to take care of ourselves. But we've talked about how a good creative director is not just creative and strategic, but also resilient and resourceful. They know how to handle problems, lead with empathy, and take care of themselves and their team.
And remember, those are things you can learn and get better at over time. It's a journey, not a race. So be open to challenges, learn from your mistakes, and keep growing.
Well said. Before we finish up, let's go back to AI in the creative process. It's a hot topic right now. What do you think about it?
It's exciting and changing fast. The Technology Advances section in the Career Guide talks about how AI is changing everything in the creative world, from coming up with ideas to automating tasks and even making things personal for users.
Like having a creative partner who can process tons of data spot patterns and come up with ideas super fast. But some people are worried about AI replacing human creativity. What do you think?
It's a valid worry, but I think AI is meant to help human creativity, not replace it. A good creative director will know how to use AI without losing their own vision and style.
So it's not about letting robots take over.
It's about finding that balance where human ideas and AI work together to create something amazing.
Like a super brainstorming session where AI throws out tons of ideas and the human team picks the best ones, refines them, and adds their own perspective.
That's a great way to put it. As AI gets better, I think we'll see even more cool creative things happening. It's a great time to be in this field, but you have to be open to adapting learning and new ways of working.
Definitely. Speaking of new ways of working, RoleCatcher's AI tools can really help. We've talked about the CV builder, the interview practice, and the career compass. Anything else you think would be helpful for creative directors?
A lot of people forget about RoleCatcher's Salary Insights tool. It uses AI to look at job market info and gives you an idea of what you can earn in different roles, like creative director. This can help when you're negotiating salary or just understanding what you can make in different places.
Especially for people who are new to this or changing careers.
It's important to know what you're worth and be able to ask for a fair salary. RoleCatcher takes the guesswork out of it by giving you info based on what's happening in the job market right now.
Great. We've covered a lot today about becoming a creative director.
But this is just the start. There are so many resources out there to help you, and we encourage you to use them.
As you start on this path to becoming a creative director, think about this. What kind of mark do you want to leave on the world? How do you want to impact things with your creativity and leadership?
That's what will keep you going, help you succeed, and make your journey fulfilling.
Well said. We're excited for you and everything you're going to do.
Don't forget RoleCatcher is here to help too.
So head over to RoleCatcher, get your creative juices flowing, and get ready to ace that interview.
We'll be rooting for you.
That's it for our Creative Director Deep Dive. Until next time, stay curious, stay creative, and keep on diving deep.
Absolutely. And remember, those qualities are things you can develop and nurture over time.
It is a journey, not a destination. Embrace the challenges, learn from your experiences, and never stop growing as a creative leader.
And never forget to prioritize your own well-being.
Make time for activities that help you recharge and stay inspired. Whether it's exploring new creative outlets, spending time in nature, or simply disconnecting from work for a while, taking care of yourself is essential for long-term success in this demanding field.
Beautifully said. It's easy to get caught up in the hustle and forget to take care of ourselves. But as we've discussed throughout this deep dive, a successful creative director is not only talented and strategic, but also resilient and resourceful. They know how to navigate challenges, lead with empathy, and take care of themselves and their team.
That's a great point. For those aspiring creative directors out there, how can they develop and strengthen these essential soft skills?
Well, active listening is key. Really focus on understanding different perspectives, even when they conflict with your own. Practice giving and receiving constructive feedback in a way that fosters growth. And be willing to step outside your comfort zone and embrace new ways of working and collaborating.
I love that. It's a reminder that we're all works in progress, and that even those at the top of their game are constantly learning and refining their skills. And speaking of learning and refining, let's circle back to RoleCatcher and how their AI-powered tools can help you on your journey to becoming a creative director. We've covered a lot of ground. The CV builder, the interview practice feature, the career compass, the salary insights tool. But is there anything else you'd like to highlight?
One feature that can be incredibly helpful, especially in those early stages of your career, is RoleCatcher's job search alerts. You can set up customized alerts based on your desired role location and salary range, and then receive notifications whenever relevant jobs are posted.
That's fantastic. It takes the hassle out of constantly scouring job boards and makes the job search process so much more efficient.
Exactly. And allows you to focus your energy on crafting those killer applications and preparing for those interviews.
Okay, folks, we've reached the end of our Creative Director Deep Dive. We've covered a ton of ground, from dissecting those tough interview questions to exploring career insights and even delving into the evolving role of AI in the creative process. But most importantly, we hope we've inspired you to pursue your creative dreams and equipped you with the knowledge and resources to make those dreams a reality.
Remember, it's a journey, not a destination. Embrace the challenges, never stop learning, and always stay true to your creative vision.
And never underestimate the power of preparation. Whether you're just starting out or you're a seasoned creative professional, RoleCatcher's AI-powered tools and resources can give you that extra edge you need to succeed.
So go out there, unleash your creative potential, and make your mark on the world.
We'll be cheering you on every step of the way. That's it for today's deep dive. Until next time, stay curious, stay creative, and keep on diving deep.
It is. But remember, it's not a solo performance. It's about highlighting how you collaborate.
Right. Like I've said, a creative director isn't a one-person show. It's about bringing a team together.
When you're explaining your process, you want to talk about how you get your team involved, how you brainstorm, how you get input from everyone and make sure they feel ownership of the final product.
That's what I like to hear. It's showing that you don't just come up with the ideas, but you create an environment where they can actually come to life.
Right.
And of course, be ready for the follow-up question, like, how do you adapt your process for different projects or clients?
Absolutely. This is where you show off how versatile you are. Can you go from a fast-paced social media campaign to a long-term branding project? Can you adjust your style for different clients with different personalities and ways of communicating? The better you are at adapting, the more valuable you are.
It's about proving you're not just good at one thing. You're a creative chameleon. You can change and succeed no matter what. Speaking of adapting, have you noticed how data analysis is becoming more and more important for creative directors?
It might not be the first thing you think of, but it's definitely become essential.
Why do you think that is?
Well, these days, creative decisions need to be backed up by evidence. A good creative director knows how to dig into the data, understand the trends, and use those insights to shape their creative strategy.
So it's not just about gut feeling anymore.
Not at all. It's about using data to make smart choices that will resonate with the audience and help the client reach their goals.
That makes a lot of sense.
For example, let's say you're working on a digital marketing campaign. A creative director who's good with data will look at things like engagement demographics and even what the competition is doing to understand what's working, what's not, and how to make the campaign even better.
So it's like a perfect blend of creativity and data-driven strategy. And speaking of data and strategy, we can't forget about RoleCatcher and its AI tools. They can be a game changer for your job search and interview prep.
Absolutely. We've talked about their career guide, but their AI tools can really take things to the next level. Let's talk about how they can help you nail those tough interview questions.
Okay, so picture this. I'm getting ready for this creative director interview. I'm a little nervous, and I know the questions are going to be challenging. How does RoleCatcher save the day?
Imagine having a personal interview coach with you 24/7. That's what RoleCatcher's AI-powered interview practice tools do. You get access to tons of practice questions tailored to specific roles, just like creative director. You can practice your answers and get feedback on how you deliver them and what you're saying.
Wait a minute, so it's not just general interview advice. It actually analyzes my answers based on the specific role I'm applying for.
You got it. It's like having a virtual mock interview with an expert who can point out areas where you can improve and help you fine-tune your responses.
That's incredible. It's like having a secret weapon for your interview. And while we're on the topic of secret weapons, what about RoleCatcher's Career Compass?
Ah, yes. The Career Compass. It's like a personalized roadmap for your career journey. It uses AI to look at your skills, your interests, and your experience, and suggests possible career paths, skills you can develop, and even other job titles that might be a good fit for you.
So it's not just about landing that first job. It's about being strategic about your career and making sure you're always learning and growing.
Exactly. And in a field as fast-paced as creative direction, that constant learning and development is essential. The Career Compass helps you stay ahead of the curve, identify upcoming trends, and make sure you have the skills you need to succeed in the future of creativity.
This is all fantastic information. But it's important to remember that being a creative director isn't always easy. The career guide even mentions that it can be a high-pressure environment with the challenges that come with leading creative teams.
You're right, it's a demanding role with high expectations and sometimes really tight deadlines. But for people who love creative challenges and have a passion for leading and inspiring others, it can be incredibly rewarding.
So how can aspiring creative directors prepare themselves for those demands?
Yeah.
How can they get ready mentally and emotionally?
It's important to learn how to manage stress and be resilient. You need to know how to prioritize things, delegate tasks effectively, and set realistic expectations. The career guide also emphasizes having a strong support network both at work and outside of work.
Having a supportive team and people you can turn to for advice can make all the difference, especially when you're dealing with creative blocks or stressful situations.
And don't forget to take care of yourself. Make time for activities that help you recharge and stay inspired, whether that's trying new creative things, spending time in nature, or just unplugging from work for a while. It's essential to take care of yourself if you want to do well in this field.
That's some great advice. It's so easy to get caught up in the hustle and forget to take care of ourselves. But like we've been talking about, a successful creative director isn't just creative and strategic. They're also resilient and resourceful. They know how to handle challenges, lead with empathy, and take care of themselves and their team.
And remember, those are qualities that you can develop and improve over time. It's a journey, not a sprint to the finish line. So be open to challenges, learn from your experiences, and never stop growing as a creative leader.
I love that. So before I move on, let's go back to something we touched on earlier, the role of AI in the creative process. It's a hot topic right now, and I'm really interested to hear your thoughts on how aspiring creative directors can embrace these advancements.
It's a really exciting and rapidly evolving field. Remember that technology advances section in the career guide? It highlights how AI is transforming the creative landscape from generating initial concepts to automating repetitive tasks and even personalizing user experiences.
It's almost like having a creative partner who can analyze huge amounts of data, identify patterns, and come up with ideas super fast. But I know there's some concern about AI replacing human creativity. What are your thoughts on that?
It's a valid concern, but I truly believe that AI is here to help human creativity, not replace it. A successful creative director will understand how to use the power of AI while still maintaining their own unique vision and artistic integrity.
So it's not about letting the robots take over.
Exactly. It's about finding that sweet spot where human ingenuity and artificial intelligence can work together to create something really extraordinary.
Like a super-powered brainstorming session where AI throws out tons of ideas and the human team steps in to curate, refine, and infuse those ideas with their own perspectives and experiences.
That's a great analogy. And as AI technology keeps evolving, I think we're going to see even more creative possibilities emerge. It's a really exciting time to be in the creative field, but it means you have to be willing to adapt, learn, and embrace new ways of working.
Absolutely. Speaking of embracing new ways of working, let's go back to how RoleCatcher's AI tools can help you navigate this ever-evolving creative landscape. We've talked about the CV Builder, the Interview Practice feature, and the Career Compass. Are there any other tools or resources you think would be especially valuable for aspiring creative directors?
One feature that often gets overlooked is RoleCatcher's Salary Insights tool. It uses AI to analyze job market data and provides salary benchmarks for different roles, including creative director. This can be incredibly helpful when you're negotiating your salary or just trying to understand your earning potential in different markets.
That's such a valuable resource, especially for those who are new to the job market or thinking about switching careers. It's important to know your worth and be able to negotiate a fair salary.
Absolutely. And RoleCatcher's Salary Insights tool takes the guesswork out of it by giving you real data based on current market trends.
Okay, everyone. We've covered a ton of ground in this deep dive into the world of creative directors. We've dissected 8 crucial interview questions, explored insights from RoleCatcher's career guide, and even delved into the exciting world of AI and its impact on the creative process.
But remember, this is just the start of your journey. There are so many resources out there to help you along the way, and we encourage you to explore them all.
You know, we've talked about all the technical stuff a creative director needs, but what about those soft skills? The ones that can really make you stand out?
You're so right. Things like communication, empathy, being able to adapt, those are really important in this role. The career guide even has a whole section on these soft skills. They're important for building relationships, handling team dynamics, and creating a positive creative space.
It's not enough to be brilliant. You have to be a well-rounded leader. Someone who can connect with people, get them to work together, and build a culture where creativity can thrive.
Exactly. And those soft skills are becoming even more important as things change in the creative world. Think about remote teams working across different departments and the need to be flexible and adapt quickly.
Makes sense. So for those aspiring creative directors out there, how can they work on these soft skills?
Active listening is huge. Really try to understand other people's perspectives, even if you don't agree with them. Practice giving and receiving feedback in a way that helps people grow. And be willing to push yourself out of your comfort zone, try new ways of working and collaborating.
I think emotional intelligence is a big part of it too. Being able to read a room, understand what's not being said, and handle those tricky situations with grace.
Absolutely. Emotional intelligence is becoming a must-have for leaders in any field, but especially in creative ones where collaboration and innovation are key.
What would you say to someone who thinks, I'm just not naturally good at those soft skills?
I'd say soft skills are like muscles. You can train them and make them stronger with practice and effort. There are tons of resources out there, books, workshops, online courses that can help you build those skills. And don't be afraid to ask for feedback from mentors, colleagues, even friends. Knowing yourself is the first step to getting better.
I love that. It reminds us that we're all a work in progress, and even the best are always learning and improving. Speaking of learning and improving, let's go back to RoleCatcher and their AI tools. We've talked about the CV Builder, the interview practice feature, the career compass, the salary insights tool. Is there anything else you'd highlight?
One feature that's super helpful, especially when you're starting out, is RoleCatcher's job search alerts. You can set it up to tell you about jobs based on the role location and salary you want, and you get notifications whenever a new job is posted.
That sounds amazing. No more endlessly searching job boards.
Exactly. It lets you focus on making your applications awesome and getting ready for those interviews.
All right, everyone. We've reached the end of our deep dive into the world of creative directors. We've broken down those tough interview questions. We've looked at the insights from RoleCatcher's career guide, and we even talked about AI and how it's changing creativity. Most importantly, I hope we've inspired you to go after your creative dreams and giving you the knowledge and resources to make them happen.
Remember, it's a journey. It's not about getting to a certain point. Embrace the challenges, never stop learning, and always stay true to your creative vision.
And don't underestimate the power of preparation. Whether you're just starting out or you're already a creative pro, RoleCatcher's AI tools can give you that extra boost you need to succeed.
So go out there, unleash your creative potential, and make your mark on the world.
We're cheering you on every step of the way. That's it for today's episode. Until next time, stay curious, stay creative, and keep on diving deep.